To teach my local residents about how to be an advocate, we had to learn from a professional, so I went to the Georgia Advocacy Office. Hello,
Hi.
thank you for taking the time to meet with me. As you know, I'm El-Mahdi Holly. I'm a Georgia State Representative down in the Henry County and a little bit of Clayton County area. And for those who don't know, I'm here with the committed Dana Lloyd, who is the Director of
Community Outreach and Engagement.
Community Outreach and Engagement for the Georgia Advocacy Office. And I know that a lot of people, that when I talk to local people about trying to understand how government works, we as legislators, and I'm sure not just at the state level, but also at the county, sometimes at the city level, where we don't always know the answers. And we do appreciate having someone who's there being an advocate for communities so that we can get it right. And I know that that's something that is important, not just for local residents to understand in terms of how the government works, but what I like particularly is that you understand the value of being able to speak for those who cannot speak in the circles of power, as well as helping them to be able to realize the strength in their own voice, to become advocates, to be able to determine the outcomes that they want to see, and then strengthen them with the relationships that or the resources they need to be their best. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. One of you did a good job of defining advocacy. Someone asked me once, what do I think of as advocacy? And I said, in high school, I was a stage manager for our theater productions. And that's how I see advocacy, right?
Mm-hmm.
That it's not about me shining. It's not about me being up front, but I set the stage. I make things happen. So people with lived experience can tell their stories, can be influential in the ways that they need to be influential. So that's a perfect definition of what we hope to do at the Georgia Advocacy Office.
Now, for those who have not heard, if you could tell them just briefly, what does the Georgia Advocacy Office actually do?
Absolutely. So we are Georgia's independent, federally mandated protection and advocacy system. So what that means is we're an independent nonprofit. We are not a part of state government. We're not a state agency.
Mm-hmm.
We receive congressional-based funds to make sure that people with disabilities all throughout the state of Georgia, all types of disabilities, all ages,
Mm-hmm.
are free from abuse and neglect, have access to their human and civil rights and some legal services, and receive the services and supports they need to live a full life in the community. We do that in a variety of ways, but that's our mandate from the federal government. There's an office like ours in every state and territory, so there's a network of protection and advocacy systems that exist across the United States, and we all do that work very differently, but that core mandate exists for all of us.
Okay, and because that you're having to operate in cooperation with states, with the federal government providing a lot of that oversight.
Absolutely.
And so it's good for people to understand that because you are putting your focus on those who are either who are just those who may not have as easy access as a lot of other people, right? I wanted to know, for the GAO's work, particularly, how do you flesh out that responsibility to them in the daily activities of the organization?
Absolutely. So we provide the support to people, like I said, across the state with all types of disabilities. So like you said, mental health, people who might have physical disabilities, intellectual and developmental disabilities, traumatic brain injuries. And in one way of looking at our work is thinking about accessibility in all the ways that accessibility exists, right? And so we can think about things like curb cuts. Well, yeah, that makes life work for people who use wheelchairs.
Exactly.
But it also makes life work for parents with strollers and elderly folks.
Exactly.
Right?
Seniors sometimes, because their health challenges,
exactly,
they can't
right?
Walk up those sidewalks.
So we definitely look at what are the ways in which we can support people with disabilities in their communities for the whole community to flourish. That's the work that we're doing. We do that in a variety of ways, right? There's a lot of work that we do that is education and outreach,
right.
information and referral. I tell people all the time that if you are a person with a disability or you're connected to a person with a disability and you're stuck, there's something that's not working, there's an answer that you can't find, you can call our office and have a conversation with our resource advocates who will listen deeply to that question and connect you to the information that you might need to take that further, right? To solve that problem for yourself. We spend time in individual advocacy, so folks who contact us and it needs more, right? I need more support than just that information and referral. We have teams across the agency with directors and advocates, but people can get that one-on-one, side-by-side assistance. We do systems level work, right? So whether that's systemic education, reviewing policy, having conversations with our legislators about the impact of policy. We are federally prohibited from lobbying, right? So
exactly.
I can't say, Representative Holly, please vote on X bill.
Exactly.
But I can say, Representative Holly, this bill impacts people with disabilities in this way.
No, I'm glad you said that, because so many times people, and I get it. There's the shady politician. Everybody's aware of the shady politician, right? That you have, and you do have paid lobbyists who are there constantly in our ears, letting us know this is what we want. This is coming down the pipeline. Sometimes we know it's good. Sometimes you're looking like, I'm not sure about this, right? But because you're a not-for-profit organization, really the federal government has said, you are cleared because you are providing a public good and you're making it available to the government and everybody else where your money is coming from. And so when you're here as an advocate, it's very clear what you're able to do. But provided local residents, if they're concerned, they can find out what you're doing. And so that transparency is there.
Absolutely.
But you're doing the work of letting us officials know who are the members of the community that we're not seeing. If you don't mind, can we actually take a look?
So let's go take a look at some resources.
Thank you.
Yeah.